Hello students, in previous lecture we have studied about the parallelogram, their properties of parallelogram and the few theorems which is related with the parallelogram and test for parallelogram and examples which is based on the properties of parallelogram which we have solved in practice set 5.1 as well as 5.2. Today we are going to discuss on the properties of rectangle as well as properties of square and the examples which is based on properties of rectangle and properties of square, which we will solve those examples from practice set 5.3. First of all, we will discuss about the properties of rectangle. Then see here, rectangle, it is one of the type of quadrilateral in which opposite pair of opposite sides are congruent. That means the first property of rectangle, that is opposite sides of rectangle are congruent, and that property is useful to solve the examples which is based on those quadrilateral. Then second one, see here, what is rectangle? The name itself indicates that rectangle, that is right angle. That means it is a quadrilateral of which all four angles are right angle. That means here all four angles are right angle. Right angle, that means here angle A is equals to angle B is equals to angle C is equals to angle D, that is of 90 degree. That means all angles of rectangle are also congruent, isn't it? Then see here, one more property which is related with that rectangle, that is if we draw the diagonals of that rectangle and if we measure the lengths of those diagonals of rectangle, then it is found that the length of those diagonals of rectangle which is also same, and as length of the diagonals of rectangle are same, therefore diagonals of rectangle are congruent. Congruent, that means here BD congruent AC. That means if AC is of 5 centimeter, then BD is of also 5 centimeter. Similarly, opposite pair of sides, those are congruent. Therefore, if AB is of 7 centimeter, then CD is of 7 centimeter, and AD if it is of 2.5 centimeter, then BC is of 2.5 centimeter. Then see here, one more property which is related with the diagonal of rectangle I am going to discuss with you, that is if AC diagonal and BD diagonal, see here, it intersect at point O. Consider here the point of intersection of those diagonal is O. Then see here, if we measure the length of OC and OA, then it is of same length. That means here we can conclude that BD, the diagonal, is a bisector of AC, and here if we measure the length of OB and OD, then it is of same measurement. Then here we can also conclude that here AC diagonal is a bisector of BD. That means here one more property that is related with the diagonal of rectangle, that is diagonals of rectangle are bisector of each other. Bisector of each other. That means AC is a bisector of BD and BD is a bisector of AC. That is about the properties of rectangle. And see here one more property, that is diagonal of rectangle are congruent. That means BD congruent AC and BD and AC are bisector of each other. Therefore here OA, see here OA congruent, OB congruent, OC congruent, OD. That means here if OA is of 2.5 cm, then OB is of 2.5 cm, OC is of 2.5 cm and OD is also of 2.5 cm. That is the general properties of rectangle which is related with that quadrilateral, that is the rectangle, and those properties are useful to solve the examples from practice set 5.3. Then today we are going to prove one of the property that is related with the rectangle, that is diagonals of rectangle are congruent. That property which we have to prove here. Then therefore we have to use the same rectangle or same figure to prove this property in the form of theorem. Then see here the theorem which we have to prove here, that is diagonals of rectangle are congruent. Then see here we have to prove this property on the basis of the properties of rectangle which we have already known. Then see here first of all we have to write the given concept or given properties here which is given in this statement. First of all see here the statement once again, that is diagonals of rectangle are congruent, isn't it? Then here that statement I am going to convert it into if and then statement. If and then statement. Then we can write the given concept, that is given property here, and to prove that. Then see here if the given quadrilateral is a rectangle, then diagonals of rectangle are congruent. See here the same property we can convert it first into if and then. Then see here the part which is after if, that is the given concept, and the part which is after then, that we have to prove that property. Therefore see here using this figure we can write the property that is given here. Given quadrilateral is rectangle, then see here we can write that quadrilateral ABCD is a rectangle, isn't it? Then we can write that angle BAD congruent angle, ADC congruent angle, B congruent angle BCD congruent angle ABC is equals to 90 degree, because the given quadrilateral is a rectangle. Therefore, all four angles of that rectangle is of 90 degree measurement. Diagonals which is given here, that is AC and BD, are the diagonals of given rectangle ABCD. Then we have to prove that diagonals of rectangle are congruent. Therefore, AC congruent BD. Then see here, that is AC and BD are the diagonals of that rectangle. Then we have to prove this property on the basis of the properties which we have already known about the rectangle. Then see here, as BD, that rectangle is drawn here. Therefore, here the triangle which is formed here. Now focus here on the triangle, that is triangle BAD. Now we have to focus on the triangle which is formed due to the AC, that is, see here, triangle ABC. See here, that is the second one, triangle. Then see here, first of all we have to write quadrilateral ABCD is a rectangle. Therefore, angle here BAD is equals to angle ADC is equals to angle BCD is equals to angle ABC. ABC is equals to 90 degree. That is the given, isn't it? And here in triangle, focus here on triangle BAD, triangle BAD and triangle ABC, triangle ABC. In those triangle, see here, first of all focus on this triangle, see here, and here focus on the next triangle, that is triangle ABC. Then see here, in those two triangles, AD congruent BC, here AD congruent BC, because opposite sides of rectangle are congruent. That is the property of rectangle. Then see here, the AB side of this triangle and AB side of this second triangle, that is ABC triangle, that means AB congruent AB, here common side. Then focus here, angle DAB of triangle BAD, angle DAB congruent angle CBA, each of 90 degree, which is given. See here, angle DAB means angle BAD, means angle BAD, and angle CBA means angle ABC, that is of 90 degree, that is congruent. Therefore, those two triangles, here triangle BAD congruent triangle ABC by SAS test. Therefore, here, see here, triangle BAD congruent triangle ABC. Therefore, see here, the remaining corresponding angles and corresponding sides of those two triangles are also congruent. Therefore, here the side BD of triangle BAD is congruent with side AC of triangle, that is ABC. Therefore, here BD congruent AC because of corresponding sides of congruent triangle, and that is the proof of our theorem. Then we will solve the example which is based on those properties of rectangle from practice set 5.3. First from practice set 5.3. Here question number 1, that is example number 1, which is given here. See here, quadrilateral ABCD is given here, in which AC is the diagonal and BD is a diagonal, which intersect in point O, that is given here. In this example, see here, quadrilateral ABCD is a rectangle. ABCD is a rectangle. As this statement is given here, then we can write that here AB congruent CD and AD congruent BC, as well as we can write that here angle BAD congruent angle, ADC congruent angle, BCD congruent angle, ABC is equals to 90 degree. Then see here, diagonal AC and diagonal BD intersect at point O. See, those diagonals intersect at point O, and here that is the length of that OA, OB, OC and OD, that is here we have to find out here, because here the length of AC is given here and here AC is given, that is AC is equals to of 8 centimeter. From that means here the AC is given here, that is therefore we can write AC congruent BD, that is the diagonals of rectangle, therefore AC is equals to BD, and here as the length of AC is given here, therefore BD is of 8 centimeter. That means AC which is given, that is of 8 centimeter. Therefore BD is also of 8 centimeter. And as we know, the diagonals of rectangle are bisector of each other. Therefore here we can write that OA congruent OC. But see here, AC which is given, that is of 8 centimeter, as well as BD is of also 8 centimeter here, and OB congruent OD, Therefore here again we can write that as AC and BD are congruent, therefore OA is equals to OC is equals to OB is equals to OD, and here see here BD is a bisector of that is AC, therefore here OA congruent OC, but OA plus OC here is equals to AC, and here OA and OC are congruent, which we have to consider here x centimeter, therefore AC that is of 8 centimeter, which is given here, therefore here 2x is equals to 8 centimeter, therefore x is equals to 4 centimeter. That means here OA or OC is of 4 centimeter, as well as here BD is of 8 centimeter, but BD is equals to, see here, OB plus OD, OB plus OD, but OB and OD are congruent, therefore here putting the values of that BD 8 centimeter here, 8 is equals to OB plus OB, because OD and OB are congruent, therefore here 2OB is equals to 8 centimeter, therefore here OB is of 4 centimeter, but here OB and OD are also congruent, therefore here OD is of 4 centimeter. That means here we can prove that here OA, OC, OB and OD all are congruent, and as AC is of 8 centimeter, therefore OA is of 4 centimeter, OB is of 4 centimeter, OC is 4 centimeter, as well as OD is of 4 centimeter. That is about the properties which is related with the rectangle. Then we will discuss on the properties of square and examples which is related with the square. Now we will discuss on the properties of square. All of you studied about that quadrilateral square and its property also. I am going to remind the properties of square here. See here, what is square? Square is a quadrilateral of which all 4 sides are congruent, as well as all 4 angles of quadrilateral, if it is of 90 degree and congruent, then it is a square. That means there are 2 properties which is, then I am going to discuss with you about the properties of square. See here, first of all, that is all sides of square are congruent. That means here LM congruent, MN congruent, NP congruent, LP. That means here if LM is of 4 centimeter, then MN is of 4 centimeter, NP is of 4 centimeter, and LP is of also 4 centimeter. As well as all angles, that is angle L, congruent angle M, congruent angle N, congruent angle P, that is of each 90 degree. That means all 4 angles are right angle. Then 2 more properties which is related with that square, that is the if diagonals of square are drawn and measurement of those diagonals, if it is observed, or the length of those diagonals if measured, then it is found that length of those diagonals are same. That means if the lengths of those diagonals are same, then diagonals of square are congruent. That means that is the one of the property of square. Diagonals of square are congruent. That means here MP congruent LN. That means if LN is of 7 centimeter, then MP is of also 7 centimeter. Then one more property which is related with that diagonals of square. See here, if we measure the length of OL and ON, it is congruent. And as well as if we measure the length of OP and OM, it is also same. As length of that OL and ON are same, therefore here MP diagonal is a bisector of LN, as well as here LN diagonal is a bisector of MP. And as diagonals are also congruent, therefore here OL congruent OM, congruent ON, congruent OP. That means here diagonals of square are bisector of each other. Bisector of each other. Then see here, therefore we can write OL congruent ON and OP congruent OM, as well as see here, if we measure the angle LOM, then it is found at 90 degree. As this angle is of 90 degree, then this angle is of also 90 degree. As well as if we measure this angle, then it is of 90 degree, as well as this angle is of 90 degree. That means here LN perpendicular to the MP. That means here diagonals of square are perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular to each other. That means here LN perpendicular MP. That means here angle LOM congruent angle MON congruent angle here NOP congruent angle here LOP is of 90 degree. That are the few properties which is related with the rectangle, which is related with the square, and the examples which is based on those property you should solve from practice set 5.3. Then one of the property which is related with this square quadrilateral, we have to prove this property here. That is, see here, the property which we have to prove here, that is the diagonals of square are congruent. Diagonals of square are congruent. Then if we have to prove this property, then we have to write this statement using if and then. If the given quadrilateral, if the quadrilateral is square, if it is square, then diagonals of then diagonals of square are congruent. Diagonals are congruent. Then we have to write given first. Then see here, first of all, here we have to write the given properties using the statement given here. Therefore, if quadrilateral is square, that means that is the given. Quadrilateral LMNP is a square, and as it is a square, therefore here LM congruent MN congruent NP congruent LP, as well as angle MLP is of 90 degree, angle LPN is of 90 degree, as well as angle MNP is of 90 degree, as well as angle LMN is of 90 degree. That is about the property of square. Then we have to prove that diagonals of, that is diagonal MP and diagonal LN and diagonal LN are congruent. That property which we have to prove here, isn't it? Then see here, we have to give the proof of this property according to the, or using the properties which is related with the square. Then see here, first of all we have to focus on, that is triangle L, that is the triangle MLP. First of all, in triangle LMP and triangle, see here another triangle, that is LMN. Here first of all LMP, that triangle, as well as focus on the triangle NML or LMN. And see here, in this triangle, see here LP congruent with the side MN of another triangle. Therefore here LP congruent MN, because that is the given which is given here. See here LP and MN are congruent, as well as angle PLM or angle MLP, that is PLM or angle MLP congruent angle LMN, that is, or NML, and that is angle NML means angle LMN, that is of each of 90 degree, which is also given. And here, see here, the side LM of this triangle and the side LM of this second triangle, that is congruent, LM congruent LM, because of common side. Therefore triangle here LMP congruent triangle LMN by SAS test, and as those two triangles are congruent, therefore MP is one of the side of that triangle LMP, as well as the LN is one of the side of triangle, that is LMN. Therefore, here MP congruent LN because corresponding sides of congruent triangle. That is the proof of our theorem. Then we can solve the examples which is given in the practice set 5.3 using those property which is related with the square. Then you should try to solve the examples which is given in the practice set 5.3 which is related with the properties of rectangle as well as properties of square in your notebook. Thank you.